Now, tonight on the program, I want to talk to you first about Senator John McCain and how he threw a couple pastors under the bus just recently. John McCain, when he was involved in the primaries months ago, sought out the endorsement of Pastor John Hagee. John Hagee is a pastor of a large church in San Antonio, Texas, Cornerstone Church. And also, he sought out the endorsement of Pastor Rod Parsley, who has a large church in Columbus, Ohio. These are both pastors who are very well known in the Christian TV world, have large churches, so it made sense for Senator McCain to go after their endorsement. Well, in the wake of the problem Senator Barack Hussein Obama had with his pastor of 20 years, Jeremiah Wright, the people in the Obama camp decided to try to neutralize those issues by finding inflammatory statements made by Pastors Hagee and Parsley. And of course, they went through years and years of sermons and found some incendiary remarks by Pastor Hagee about the Catholic Church, making a prophetic statement about how God had led Hitler to institute the Holocaust, which was then used to drive the children of Israel back to Israel, which, of course, reconstituted that state in 1948. And on Pastor Parsley's side, they took some comments he made about how Islam is a religion of evil. And then they started to use those comments to try to equate them with the comments of Pastor Jeremiah Wright. Well, let me just say right up front that the relationships in these two instances aren't even analogous or comparable in any way. Senator McCain was simply getting the endorsement of these men. He didn't sit in their churches for 20 years. He wasn't a member in their churches for 20 years. These pastors didn't marry him and his wife or baptize his children, as was the relationship, the very close relationship with Senator Obama and Reverend Jeremiah Wright and Trinity United Church of Christ on the south side of Chicago, which, of course, he has recently resigned from, which I predicted on this show many weeks ago that would be happening soon. So, in the political heat of the moment, Senator McCain decided to toss these pastors under the bus and literally had them take back their endorsements, which they did. Let me just say this. One of the problems Hagee and Parsley had in this whole sad affair was because these two men are two of the violators, the two biggest violators of preaching to the choir, using the millions they amassed to basically preach to a Christian audience over on the Christian networks, which is purely their business model. It has left them void of any way to really respond in a meaningful way in the secular media. It's what I talk about often, how Christians have abandoned the marketplace for the comfort, the safety, and the profitability of the Christian trough, or this Christian subculture that we've created for ourselves. And in the process, we've taken ourselves out of the mainstream. So when these type of situations come up, what happens? You get a couple of pastors who had some remarks taken out of context, who look very foolish. Now, Pastor Jeremiah Wright, by his own admission, for over 3 decades, has preached this false black liberation theology, which we've talked about in the past on the program. Pastor Parsley and Hagee are pretty much mainstream pastors, but when you're dealing with Bible prophecy, when you're talking about false religions, comments can be made that to a non-church public, to a secular audience that doesn't know the Bible, in a country now that is clearly not a Christian nation, comments sound outrageous, hateful, intolerant, and all those other adjectives. So in the heat of the moment, Senator McCain basically took the move a gutless politician would take and took back those endorsements. So it's very sad. But in one respect, these pastors have brought it on themselves for abandoning the marketplace, abandoning the culture, to basically go preach to the choir. The second topic I want to talk to you about just for a minute tonight is what the Islamic terrorists around the world all dream of. They all dream of laying the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., to waste. If you remember on that fateful day of 9/11, the plane that hit the Pentagon, the plane that was courageously taken down in the fields of Pennsylvania, that was also heading for where? Washington, D.C. It is the dream of all the jihadists around the world to literally lay our nation's capital to waste. And I've got a picture of what they would like it to look like. There it is, my friends. That's Washington, D.C. That is a very accurate computer rendition of what Washington, D.C. would look like if it was nuked. And I don't want, I just bring this up tonight so that you don't forget, so that you never forget, that there's a very real enemy out there that wants to do this, not just to our nation's capital, but to every city, and lay this nation to waste. We have a very real enemy out there that wants us dead and wants this nation wiped off the very face of the globe. So I just share that with you tonight, that you don't forget that there are people out there that want us dead. Lastly tonight, I want to talk to you about the annual event at Disney known as Gay Days. You know, I got to tell you something. I've been telling people for years that they need to totally avoid Disney. This is not the Walt Disney of your childhood. This is not the Mickey Mouse of your childhood. As a matter of fact, I won't be surprised when one day it won't be Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. It will be Mickey Mouse and Mark Mouse. Every year for a week, homosexuals from around the nation, now even around the world, hundreds of thousands descend on Disney. And Disney welcomes them with open arms. How would you like to plan your family vacation and, without even knowing it, be in the park when literally tens and thousands of homosexual couples invade the park, holding hands, kissing, making out in public, and all with the welcome, approval, and the support of Disney? Listen, if people who choose to engage in deviant sexual activities want to do that, that's fine. This is a free country. And if they want to go to Disneyland or any theme park that's fine. This is a free country. The point tonight is, why does a corporation like ABC Disney have to facilitate such sin and such debauchery? Why does a major corporation like ABC Disney have to open their arms and invite this type of sin into their business? So I just want you to understand what's going on in our culture. So many people are asleep. So many people don't have a clue really what's happening in this world. And one of the things we try to do each week on this program is deal with the hot issues of the day, deal with the things that are happening in this world, bring you those events from a biblical worldview